All right. So it's great to have you use here, as the Irish would say. Use are looking amazing. So today we're going to be, you know, talking about campaigns. I'm going to share my screen in a little bit, and let me know when you see my screen. Do you see it?
Yeah,
Can
good.
Yes.
Okay. Tejiri, what are campaigns then?
Um, Campaigns are they're events for creating awareness of a product.
Mm. Okay.
That's what I think they are.
Mm. Um, Very textbooky.
I go
You
I go school.
go school. Okay. IBK, what do you think campaigns are?
A prolonged marketing effort. Prolonged marketing effort to show the benefits or the uses of a product or service.
Hmm. Prolonged. Teju, what do you think about the word?
I don't know what it means.
You don't know what it means, right? Okay, so what does that mean, man? I also don't know what it means, IBK.
Prolonged meaning is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous process. Right,
It's a
over
continuous
time.
process. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't think that's what prolonged means. But again, your words, you can use them as their wheat. Prolonged, however, is more like something is supposed to happen in a particular duration of time.
Not unnecessarily.
There's a there's a small feedback.
Yes. Is anyone on like double? Okay, I think it's fine now. So
It's fine
prolonged,
now. It just came for a second.
yeah, prolonged would suggest that it's meant to happen within a period of time, a duration of period of time, and now it's extending beyond that.
Right, right, true. Yeah, that wasn't a good use of word.
Yeah. We only get to use a word 50 times, right? So, we can't waste them. Okay, so um, for me, I like to start about what something is not. So let's get rid of all it's not. A campaign is not an ad. I mean, and people say all the time I'm running a campaign, and I'm like, okay, and they show me an ad. A campaign is not an ad. Teju, what do you think campaigns are not?
Campaign is not an event.
It's not an event. Okay. It's event, like event meaning
Uh,
like occasion.
Occasion, yes.
Okay. So okay. It's
Because
not
I use the word. That's what I use.
event. Okay. Um IBK, what do you think campaigns are not?
I'd say ad. You already covered that. Ad is a word I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. Are you gonna steal what I just said and say it back at me?
yeah.
Okay. Um so what are campaigns? Let's start with Google, right? And according to Google Dictionary, it says an organized course of action to achieve a goal. An organized course of action to achieve a goal. So that's why I also like what you said, Teju, about if it's not an event, whether occasion or isolating the word event. So it's not an event, it's a process, right? It's a course of action to achieve a goal. Okay. You can take screenshots, and you can get the slides if you want. If you want the slides, you can have the slides, and all of that. You have access to the recording as well. So, uh, I mean, unless you're taking us for your own engagement, you probably wouldn't need to do that as much, because I'm going to give you the slides and the recording. But you can do as uh, some people like to listen with writing. So, however that works for you. So, yes, campaign actually is the word. It's coming from the word campagna. I like to go to the origin. Let's start with the origin of things, at the etymology, and it comes from campagna, which really means open field or the open country. You know, let's move this here. Okay. You see the picture?
Yes.
So the origin of campaigns. Okay, I need to minimize this, but okay, I could put it here. The origin of campaigns, right? This is where it started from. This is what the word campania actually means: open field. And yeah, this is campania, open field, like this, right? So how did that word transform into what we know it today, right? And it will all make sense soon. So what would happen a couple of years ago, um, when 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 we're still organized as monarchies and and villages and all of that. So maybe a rebellious tribe or the unopposing city, they want to send a message to the king without necessarily, they don't want war, like not necessarily fight. Sometimes they might want war, right? But they don't necessarily want to fight, so they won't show up at his door to bring that trouble. So what they would do is they would go around the companions, either burn fields, steal things, or even some of them might even burn the entire village, including the people in it, and spare one person to go tell the story. Right? So yes, I have bad tidings. Here's what has happened. Here's what have happened, and the king gets the message. Sometimes they don't even need to even they kill everybody. They spare no one, because they know that once the king hears of that act, but that's not enough to really fight a war, take an entire army to go to war. However, it's enough to send the message for a certain resolve. So they use the word campania to explain that concept that, oh, it's been attacked again. The campania has been this again. This has happened to it again. So they started just using it as campaign, like campania, and the king will understand. So that's where we're coming from when it comes to campaign. So it's very linked to a certain course of action and the message. So I mean, even in today's world, later on, it went from what it was into military campaigns, where soldiers and armies started using this course of action to achieve certain goals. Then later on, also in politics, now you can hear people say, "Oh, I voted," right? Or have you voted? We should vote. We should do this. The guy is doing a campaign. Um, you know, is doing a campaign of vote me as governor, vote me as president, right? So later on, also the one on the left, when the U.S. Army wanted more people, they wanted more people to. Let's put this down here. Okay, they wanted more people to go to war. So you know what they did? They came up with a campaign. They came up with a message, and they pasted this everywhere. They called this guy, I think, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam wants you. Uncle Sam is saying, "Come." So till this day, this picture is still an iconic message, and it was the campaign to get people to go into the U.S. To recruit and go into the U.S. Army, right? And even Hitler in his book, and he said a few times that one of the best ways, or the strongest force to move the mass into one thinking, is through campaigns executed as propagandas. And here is one of Hitler's propaganda. Like, how did he do it? How did he convince an entire country to commit such atrocities? And how did he even convince other countries to join him? Propagandas, which were basically campaigns. So, and again, of course, the political campaigns, and you could always see one thing consistent, whether we go back to the Uncle Sam or Hitler's campaigns, or even if we go all the way back to to the Campania, where they will attack the Campania or do something to the Campania. There are certain similarities. Have you noticed them, IBK? Dave?
I can see some sort of physical gesture.
Just some sort of physical gesture. Okay, what else?
Um, I can see a tagline: "Make America Great Again, Stronger Together." We want you for the U.S. Army, whatever that was in that language, for the OJA or something.
Whatever, yeah.
Where there seems to be a strong message, a short, strong message.
Yes. And this is why campaigns are powerful. We'll touch on them a little bit. This is why campaigns are powerful. It's really about, there is a goal to achieve, and there's really a message really pushing that goal. And the good thing about that, which we'll be talking about why campaigns are really better than launches, is that it makes it more beyond just a product. A campaign like this, it makes it beyond. I've seen some countries where they don't even run campaign. They're like, these are the two people we have for you. Okay. It makes it more than that. It's not a whole thing. People are showing up to stadiums and all of that. Imagine if you sold tickets to come to political campaigns, to come and see the next president, to make a lot of money from that from campaigns, right? As opposed to what they're doing right now, losing money. Because people want to they connect to that message. They connect to what is going on, right? They can connect to the experience and the possible future. Consistently, you see the message, right? Okay. So how did campaign become about marketing and become about business, right? It was really, late 19th century. This was when print was print was beginning to really take hold. Then what happened was, okay, with print and newspapers and all of that, there was now a larger medium where you can communicate. Of course, now you could have a small ad or a small thing on the thing, but with print, how do we put this everywhere? What message? What do we want them to do? And with the evolution of industrialization, we'll be touching on a few case studies in a bit. Like one of them is Just Do It. Just Do It was actually a campaign, and I tried to get the original of the campaign image. Just Do It was a campaign which has now become the core of what the business really is. Campaigns are that powerful. Campaigns change the course of action. Right? Then, of course, we have the Think Small campaign, which is a very powerful campaign. So what a lot of people do not know is that this car right here, some call it the B2, was actually detected by Hitler himself.
Wow.
Hitler spoke to Porsche and said, "This is the car you're going to make," and he had the qualities of what the car has to have. It has to be portable, small, but it should be able to contain 5 families. So you, your wife, and 3 kids at the back. Then it must not be as expensive. It must not be more expensive than a motorcycle. So that means they have to find a way to make it cheap. He gave them all the things that he wanted, and he wrote some of the first versions that were made himself. So how do you sell a car? This was post. Hitler made this commission I think in 1938. That was when he told Porsche to make it. But now then the Second World War happened. Now all of that. But how do you now? And I think later on, I think 56 or so, they tried to make this car the new American car. Well, how do you do that? This car is closely associated with Hitler, right? The car is German. And the Americans they either liked the big cars or they liked the fast cars. This was the time of fast. This was the 50s, remember? This was fast cars. This was the Cadillacs and the rest of these were fast cars, cool looking cars. How do you bring such an ugly thing? It was simply called ugly, and they accepted that, yeah, it's ugly. In the campaign, they agree that it's ugly, right? So they came about the Think Small campaign. And Think Small campaign, one of the things that Think Small campaign, the guy, the agency Ben, who was the guy in charge of the agency at the time that was contacted by the company, Volkswagen, on the campaign, when he did this, he changed advertising and print forever. Before now, print used to be about putting design everywhere. It was the first time, where in an ad you see blank space, because he was trying to elaborate on the idea of small and all of that. This right here changed history of marketing. The Think Small campaign. So the Think Small campaign did not only change the car industry, it also affected and changed the marketing industry. As opposed to a launch, they said, how do we pass a message? What's our message? Right? And in 83 years, they've sold 23 million cars. And they said this we're not going to change. It's ugly, we know, but this we're not going to change. So another thing they were trying to push out in the campaign, which we want to also touch on, which are objectives. Like you have your core message, but you also have a few other things you want to say, right? Like, let's think about the king situation. Two kingdoms come together. They're like, okay, this is the problem, right? But you would have some of the courtiers or the Senate go, but this is also an issue. Like, since we're already here, right? So while we're already here, this is what we also want to let you know. Because then every year or so, a new sport car will come. And if you had a sport car, now yours was outdated, there was a new thing. And they say, we're not going to ever change this. So you don't have to, you will never face the pressure of needing to change. I mean, we might change the engine and all of that, which you can change without buying a new car, but we're not going to change this. So that was part of their message. And it's like, yeah, look, and if you run out of gas, it's easy to push. Take small. Wow. So these were not launches, and we're gonna really jump into why campaigns are better than launches in a little bit. Yes. Who have tried to launch a product? We have a new guy here. Could you please introduce yourself, if you can hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes. Hi.
I can hear you.
Yes. Could you please introduce yourself?
Good evening.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Sydney.
Okay. Sydney. Okay. Where are you calling from? Where are you joining us from?
Lagos, Nigeria.
Nigeria. What do you do?
I'm a musician and a doctor.
A doctor. Okay. All right. It's great to have you here. So you're in the music business?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great to have you here. I mean, we're talking about campaigns and why campaigns are better than launches, and we try to communicate. Have you tried to launch a product before? I know, Dave. You recently have, and we're gonna talk on your case study, really, for why campaigns are better than launches. Teju, have you tried to launch anything before?
No.
You never tried to launch anything. Okay, so if you're trying to launch a product, Dave just faced this. Dave, what are some of the problems you've encountered with your launch?
I didn't necessarily have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to start putting promotional
the problems that the actual challenges that you had.
All right. Well, finding people to work with, want to get some of the things together, building some of the things like websites, all these things take time. It's not as easy as I thought it would be. It took more time than I thought it would take.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you mean you push your launch dates, you know,
Oh yes,
a few times, right?
pushed. Yes.
Exactly. You know, so now that's a classic case of what a launch feels like. You know, of course you can blame yourself and blame blame your company, blame the plan, blame the like, no, we didn't have plan, we didn't have, but that's just the nature of launches, right? So first of all, launches are not kind of, imagine if you announced it out. I mean, we talked about it, your launch internally, but imagine if you have announced it to the world and all of this, you're encountering all of these problems. You know, they're not as adjustable, but the campaign is simply just adjustable because that's the nature of the campaign, right? Then of course it provides an experience. It provides like an experience that the people can be a part of, right? And it's less pressure because it's fun. It's a fun thing you're trying to do. It's less pressure. You know, so let's take from the military standpoint. Let's take a launch as a war, right? Which would you rather do, a campaign or an actual war?
The campaign.
Because I mean, we're also going to bomb farms, right? Like, you know, but what's serious, you know, and the pressure to have 1,000. Okay, we need to sell 1,000 of this, or 1,000 of this product. The pressure to, oh, this has to come out on this date. All of that goes away with campaigns. Like think about, let's think about this. Think about campaigns. Like, this campaign is still going on.
It's crazy.
Right? So campaigns, I mean, you get to own a message. Just do it. Think different. Think small. You get to own a message, right? And inclusiveness, like, it includes the people. They become a part of it. Like, you've seen how things have been going viral by simply, you know, by they call it challenges, but they're really campaigns. You know, Sydney, you're in the music business. You know, a lot of those challenges are carefully planned. Probably know that more than I do, right? They're carefully planned and carefully orchestrated. It's as campaigns, but to the people, they're just they're part of the challenge, part of a challenge, doing a funny dance or doing whatever, right? We're gonna talk about something that looked like a challenge, but they actually raised, I think it was 153 million in 8 weeks. But we're gonna get to that in a bit. Campaigns are fun. Launch. I mean, even no matter what they tell you, Steve Jobs was. I mean, he was amazing at launches, right? But the pressure, it's not that much fun. But think about owning a message in the world and playing with the different elements to get your message heard. Yes, it removes the delay of the perfect launch. Like, if you had a campaign, you're running the campaign. You don't even need to have you don't need to have a product to run a campaign. You know, so it removes the pressure of having a product. It removes the pressure of a perfect launch. You have a message and you're pushing out the message in the world. And of course, this is why, I mean, launches can get creative. They can use a little bit of magic. However, the nature of campaigns is built in such a way that you have some logic, which is strategy and plan, but you also have the space to explore magic and your creativity. Right? Okay. So, do you know why we drink orange juice?
C.
What?
So vitamin C.
Vitamin C. Okay. But I mean, again, that's what we're told, right? You know, that's what we're told. But
That's what we're told. Yeah.
so let's
I'm
assume
not sure.
it's correct. Yeah, I mean, let's even assume it's correct, right? Why did we start thinking about, like, why do we drink milk, like cow milk? Why do we eat eggs? I think
Seems
I
like
had
like two people dropped up.
yeah, I think probably internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So why do we do these things? I think it was in the 70s. The idea of eggs is health. Everywhere you went, eggs is healthy for you. Eggs is the best thing you could take. Oh, are you a man having male issue? Eggs is what you need. You need to build muscles. Eggs is what, like, they push the idea. There's a company, Sunkist. You know, they were running out of. They had so much oranges, and the oranges were going bad. So much oranges, and the oranges were going bad, right? So they came to this guy and they said, this was happening. Then he thought, him and his team, he thought, how can we sell more oranges? Right? How can we sell more oranges? That's when he came with the California seedless never oranges. Which is basically it's like white side of peel it and all of that, when you could just drink, like when you could just drink it, right? So that became a campaign, drink an orange, right? So the drink an orange campaign is why today, and it has become so cultural that, for example, in America, almost every breakfast, you see a glass of milk and a glass of oranges. It has become part of the culture. This is what campaigns can do. Have you heard any lunch do that? No. Right? Okay. So yes, the Sunkist. And they're like, look, you can, oh man, like this is, they started even selling the idea you can even get your own extract for only 10 cents. So this is how they were able to get rid of oranges going bad using this campaign, loading people with oranges, right? Okay. So engagement rings, right?
Okay.
Sydney, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Yeah, I did. I got locked out.
You what? Do you know why? Do you know why
I got locked out for a bit.
Oh, no problem. Do you know why we propose with a diamond ring?
I'm assuming cultural tradition, and because it's seen as valuable by the gender being proposed to.
Okay. You see all of the things he just listed? That was from that is because of the campaign by De Beers. De Beers probably own about 85% of the world's diamond. Right? So this was, I think, in the 48, 49, I'm not too sure about the date, but they're about that. This was post World War. And this was post World War and post the Great Depression, and they were trying to sell, they were really trying to sell more diamonds. So, I mean, who nobody cared about diamonds, right? People were hungry for the most part. So they say, how do we sell more diamonds? And the thing about a diamond, I mean, I heard that if you try to resell a diamond, you lose almost 90%. That's what I heard. Not never confirmed. So basically, diamonds are almost worthless, right? So how did they do it? They did a campaign. Like, look at the look in her eyes when you bring her that diamond. It's culture. He loves me, right? All of that stuff, and of course he probably does. But now, let's look at the history of it. This was the first. Okay, let me see if I can take it. Okay, this was one of the first ad by De Beers. And okay, let me take this off so you can see. How can you make 2 months salary last forever? That's what the ladies will always tell you. They will always say, oh, it has to be at least 2 months of your salary. They came up with that idea. Because the diamond ring probably cost twice your, the smallest one probably cost twice at the time, twice of their income, right? So how do you show her that she's 1 in a million? And they said there's only 1 in a million diamond or something. So how do you show her she's 1 in a million? Something like that. But diamonds are actually in abundance, right? So they kind of created artificial scarcity and did a campaign. A diamond is forever. This is the campaign. A diamond is forever. That changed life as we know it. And every time the lady goes like this, she's part of that campaign. She's still part of that campaign. Every time she goes, he proposed to me, she's still part of that campaign. Right? So here are a couple of things that the campaign, the message. Imagine how happy she would be with the same ring as her friends, only bigger. Of course, there is a return on investment. We just can't print it here. Chocolates say I love you in that we'll see how it goes sort of way. They're not saying buy anything, right? They're only pushing the center. These are things they're trying to push the central idea, which is a diamond is forever. De Beers, a diamond is forever, right? Every 1,000 years or so, it's nice to get her something really special. She wants you to spend more time with her. You want more time with your friends and beer, negotiate, right? Since the beginning of time, man has used 2 stones to start a fire. This was when they were trying to get the women to start wearing diamond earrings. Like since the beginning of time, man has used 2 stones to start a fire, like get the men to buy them diamond earrings mostly, so, because this was marketed to the men. How can you make 2 months salary last forever, right? All of this, you see, it's all because of a well-executed campaign. A diamond is forever. They've made a movie, and they did that was all the campaign, all part of the campaign. Songs, all of it. De Beers, 85% of the world's diamond. All part of the campaign.
Beers, B-E-A-R-S.
Yeah, D-E space, then beer and S. Like B-E-E-R-S.
Okay, then beer. Okay.
Yeah, De Beers. So it's not some of the things that we've thought were inherently part of our culture. In fact, somebody swore that this is the right thing to do. You have to get down on your knees. You have to buy the most expensive diamond you can ever afford. Get down on your knees and give it to her. Right? But this was because of the campaign. Imagine if they launched a new product, a new collection of products. Okay, yeah, okay, and so what, right? Okay, they probably have the marketing budget to advertise and sell the product, and what happens, right? This is another campaign, the ALS campaign. You remember the campaign? The cold water campaign. Can you hear me?
I don't think
Okay, so there's the cold water challenge where you pour cold water on your body to promote ALS. Sydney, do you remember the ALS challenge? The ice bucket challenge, it was called.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Yes, okay, yeah, it was called the ice bucket. Yeah, well, yeah. So this was really a campaign, and they raised 153 million in about eight or 18, one of those 2 numbers. Right. So David is trying to get back in. So yeah, I know. When I say these things about campaign, I know what you might think, right? You might think, okay, but what about Apple? This guy did launches, right? Well, I mean, first of all, he was kicked out of his company, right? His own company got kicked out, and when he came back, the first thing he did was not to launch a product. So a lot of times we're looking at the like what certain people or companies are doing now and missing the point that is a result of something that's been going on, right? So he did the Think Different campaign. The campaign was supposed to inspire workers, to inspire new talent, was supposed to inspire people to understand that the message was very like this is to the crazy ones, right? To the whatever, the rebels and all of those people, right? The ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world, because those are the ones that actually do. Here at Apple, we think different. What an inspiring message. I probably watched that about 100 times.
I probably did so.
Like, just go and watch it. I'm like, wow. Right? So that campaign, Think Different, what brought the attention. And so why before the launch, right? So why in fact every Apple launch is still part of that Think Different campaign. Think Different became at the core so much, like the core DNA of the company. And so every year when we go for the Apple launch, what we're really looking for? We're looking to them to fulfill the message. Here at Apple, we think different. So we want to see what difference that they've made this year. That's why every year they have to do something different, because it's an extension of that campaign, right? Okay, so yes, so the whys, right? Why? Like, why aren't we all running campaigns, right? Why are we running campaign or campaigns? Well, it's like, I don't know how, right? Okay, so let's go to how to do it. Okay.
Not dealing with the whys.
What?
Not dealing with the whys.
Not dealing with the whys. We focus on
So that was a bit nice bit. Nice.
Skip all the whys and go to how. The first thing I studied, whether it was military campaigns, the Campania concept we talked about, political, marketing. There's one thing. It starts with one thing, which is the intention. Some people like to use the word goal. I just like to use the word intention. What's the intention behind this? I want to have more sales. I want more traffic. I want more engagement. I want whatever. Like, that's your own intention. You don't have to tell everybody. Right? That's your own intention. You don't have to tell everybody. Well, you can tell people, but you don't have to tell anybody. Well, this is your intention. Then of course, who is this intention for? Like the basic things we've been hearing, like the target, all of this stuff. But like the intention, the target. So I listened to a coach analyze a basketball game once, and he said that he immediately said this team was going to win. I said, why do you think so? These ones are more like skillful in everything they're doing. He said, no, these ones they are grounded in fundamentals. They're grounded in fundamentals to a point of mastery. Like that's where the mastery is. These fundamental things, like by doing them, like look at their bounce, look at their shooting, like they're gonna win at the end of the day when these guys run out of things to show off doing. Right? So intention, targets, the fundamentals. So who is this going to be for? Certain kings, if they hear Campania they burnt a farm, they knew nothing would be done. So they would go and, like blow up, kill everybody. Because the target is important. Like, even let's go back to Think Different, the campaign. The campaign they were really at the time, they were trying to sell to college students. Right? So they were trying to sell to. Everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. So they were trying to sell to college students. And the college students that would like Apple, they thought these are the creatives. These are, you know, a little bit of a tech guy, a guy who's sitting down there in a cafe after after school or between classes, thinking he's going to change the world, right? These were really the people they were targeting with the MacBook, the Macintosh at that time, I think, also, you know, right? So that's why, because the target shapes the next thing, which is the message. But you don't have to write this down again. I'm going to give you the slides, and I'm going to I'm going to have the recording, right? But again, the discipline to follow these fundamentals. You just the discipline to really follow these fundamentals. Does anyone struggle with targeting here? No, in targeting and knowing the right target audience?
Yes.
Okay, you struggle with that.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay, do you know why you struggle with that?
Oftentimes it comes from intention. When there is really a variety of intention and a variety of options, you know, it makes it much harder to hit a specific or target a specific group or sector of people, because there's so much you want to do at a time as an individual that wants to do anything. So really narrowing it down to a specific intention to now bring about a specific target is often a challenge for most people.
Okay, so paradox of choice paralysis, where you have too many people you can help, and you're like, which of them should I focus on, right? Did I get that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's especially true in the music business.
Okay. Okay. That's okay. So there's a 3D way of looking at targets, right? Which is of course the old way, which is coming from a very left-sided way, strategy logic, which is demographics. You know, we're going to bomb this campania, right? So basically demographics. Demographics is basically things like age, location, sex, occupation, all of those basic stuff. In some businesses, this is enough. You know, these people do these kind of things, so this is what they want, right? But in some cases, this is never the point. You know, so then the next thing to look at is the psychographics, which is basically what common emotion do these people share, right? Let's take abuse victims, for example, or addicts, alcoholics. These people share, they might be different age, different race, different sex, different places, but they share a similar emotion that you can form a community based on the similarity of that emotion. So that's the second way to look at it. Then the third way to look at it is to look at look at it from market segmentation. So you have if you have lots of people you're trying to target, don't throw them away. A business can have multiple products, and a product can have multiple customer segments, right? So it's about, okay, but you got to do them kind of one at a time, you know, depending on the one at a time, just depending on your capabilities and resources. If you have the resources to, you know, target everybody at once, go for it. You know, but if you have a small team, then probably you want to do one at a time so you can execute properly, right? So and you see a lot of musicians do this a lot. You know, they do this with their project. Like, let's take singers, right? Drake is a case study. It's a classic case study of this. He has managed, like, why his fan base is so large is because he has managed to capture different audiences. You know, he has tapped into Afro. He has did some Afro stuff. You know, you even enter the Arabic market rapped in Arabic. Now you can go get shows in the Arabic world, you know, and all of that. You know, so he has done it with the Spanish, released a couple of Spanish stuff. So his stuff has different market segmentations. Like you can even take someone like Cardi B, for example. We could point out 3, 4 of her market segments, right? So that girl who is seeing live, who's seeing live and is being judged. Now she feels liberation, like she connects with Cardi B, right? You know, then you have the people who just like her because they think she's funny, right? Then of course you have the Spanish speaking people, the Caribbeans and all of those, right? So if you look at it, and she serves all of them, different times, different ways, but she serves all of them by thinking about them as market segments. Then of course, the fourth thing to uh, kind of do is observe human action. That This was Ludwig von Mises, behavioral economist. He absolutely believes that all of economy is not a mathematical formulaic thing. It's a thing where it's psychological, where we watch human action. Whether stocks drop or fall, these are all human action. The entire marketplace is really based upon human action, as a collectively, but human action. So if you watch what people do, it will give you insight to who your customers are. Let me give you an example of a campaign that we launched, which is okay. We're like, how do we know these people? We say, okay, you know what? Let's put a couple of videos out. Put a couple of videos out, and let's see the people who would watch past 75, 90%, because those people are probably interested in this, right? So let's say your product is maybe a meditation course or self-guided meditation app or something, and you make a couple of videos, mindfulness, this, and you make something on maybe a meditation class, 30 minutes, and people are watching it, 50% 70. Anybody doing that is kind of interested. So that kind of gives you an idea. So what we did was we retargeted people who watched past 75% and who watched past 95%. So we targeted those people, and because we knew they were kind of interested, so we tested it, and we wanted to find out more. So we offered a webinar, which was almost like an extension of that video, and saw how they would respond to it. Now, a lot of them responded further, so we fitted it more, and we're like, oh, okay, this is our audience, by simply just watching what the people are doing. Okay, your competitor or someone who has similar products. I don't think competition is I never consider competition anyway. That's again, launches are combative. Launches are always trying to compare yourself to something. I need to have 100, 1,000. Where are those numbers coming from, right? As opposed to a campaign which you say, I have a message, I have beliefs, and I want to share these beliefs, share this message in creative ways, obeying certain business marketing laws, of course, and of course, my intention is to get more sales. At the end of the day, if I'm going to have fun with this, and I'm going to make adjustments as I go until my goal is achieved. And sometimes it even becomes bigger than that. Right. Okay. So any more questions on target? Sydney? And again, like we have a product. We have a product. One second, just to put more light on the target thing, right? We have a product, same product, right? Let's take getting clients, for example. The process of getting clients is pretty much straightforward. It's pretty simple. It's straightforward. Leads. How much leads are you getting? How many people are showing up from those leads? How much people are you converting into show ups, whether that's as appointment or showing up on your website? And how much of that are you closing? So, and how well you do these three factors, or how well you organize this process, becomes how much clients you get at the end, right? And of course, how will you also now make the process cyclical by getting your clients to become ambassadors, or through referral, affiliation, and joint ventures. All of that creates a cyclical process where for you to get clients. It's pretty much the same. It's pretty much that simple. And there are certain tools and skills to learn in able to achieve leads, appointments or show-ups, and closing. Then of course you have to deliver on the promise. If you're not going to be able to keep the money. So we did different landing pages targeting different groups of people. Hey healers, are you trying to get clients and you're a healer? This is exactly made for you, and it is. Right? So the different landing pages saying different, like slightly different things that fit that message, but same product. Sydney, thank you very much for your patience. So you were going to say something on you had a question on target, more questions on target.
Oh yes, I basically see this target as the fulcrum of the campaign, but we followed the stepwise method going from intention to message, and I was just wondering how effective it is to reverse engineer this and go from what do I have to say, the message, then who will be interested in what I say, the target, then now from that go to intention instead of going from intention to message. I don't know, does that work?
Okay. So you want to go from intention to message before the target?
No, I'm saying message to target, then intention.
Message to target, then intention.
Yeah, basically looking at what you have to say or what you have to offer, no matter how.
Offer before the intention. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not really sure the order, but basically like reverse engineering it. That's
reverse engineering it. Okay. So I mean, it could work. Like life is the big if. However, here's a process that has worked, and here's why it works actually. The reason why it works is that first of all, we get at least 33% smarter when we know the intention. This has been medically proven. I can even prove it to you right now. If you go to if you walk into your kitchen and you forget why you're there, no intention, you would not know what to do. You'll be confused. You'll be looking at everything, and you'll be looking at everything, and you're like, should I pick eggs? I don't know. Maybe this. Why did I come here again? Sometimes some people quit and they go back and just sleep. Sometimes some people just start doing random stuff because of no intention. So intention, number one, makes you smarter. Number two, it shapes you from there. It's like trying to shoot an arrow. Like it shapes the target. It shapes everything. It shapes the target. It shapes the message. It shapes everything from there. Starting with the end, like the intention is really this is already reverse engineered, because the intention is the end. So we're already beginning with the end in mind.
Yeah.
So it's already reverse engineered. Does that make sense?
Yes, this is pretty much what I was expecting, because I looked at the order of things and I saw that it was a bit backwards. So that's why I had to ask that question. And
it's already reverse engineered, because you're already beginning with the end in mind, so that by the time you get to the current day, it's simplified enough and you know what to do today, right now. Okay, so yes.
It's the only way you know how to craft your message, even because if there's no target, you can't really craft an effective message.
Like if there's no intention, then what are we really doing? Like, what are you trying to do? Yeah. Imagine going, even when if you go to an ad agency, or you go to graphic designers, or you're telling your team that, okay, come up with here's the message. We're like, oh, I mean, what are we trying to do? Because like if you look at all of the campaigns, I'm not sure if you could notice that they were trying to do something. The intention is why the message, right? But done in such a way, like the logic and the magic is done in such a way that involves them, shares beliefs, and it really becomes a cultural idea. All right. So of course you want to have your intention, but you also want to have those simple things like objectives. Did you see the campaign, Think Small campaign?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Of course, the intention was very clear. which is we're going to have we want to sell more cars. We want to sell more cars in the US. We want this to be part of almost the heritage here. That was the intention. But of course, they knew and understood certain obstacles that might have been in people's minds. So they had certain objectives to communicate as well. So some of the things they wanted to communicate was, okay, the ideas behind the car. You know, they wanted to communicate why people should think small. They wanted to communicate a few of these things that makes the car unique. These are usually the objectives. You know, like what are some other the way to think of objectives is like, okay, this is my intention, this is my message, but what are some other things I would like to have here? You know, so like the guy might go, you know what, I want more traffic. I mean, of course, I want the intention here is sales. I would like some more engagement, or I would like some more traffic. Some people like things like that, right? You know, so you have your objectives. Then of course the medium. The medium, how do you want to remember all of advertising marketing really took a leap with the evolution of print, when we could actually now print paper, or when we could print things. That's when the evolution of advertising, you know, really that was a jump for advertising. In fact, that was kind of the beginning of advertising, right? So what's the medium? Because the medium is going to affect or shape the next thing, which is design. What is design really? Design is really, you know, it's the thing we don't see and the thing we see. You know, it's about the form, the function, and the feel of a particular thing. That's the design. You know, so you're looking at the form, the function, and how it feels. You know, so why design? So we're looking at the things we see and the things, the visible and the invisible forces of design. So we're looking at the graphics, okay, the graphics, the media, the graphics, the media, all of those things. What are they going to look like? How they're going to be? What are we going to? Some people did campaigns using like caricatures, like caricatured paintings, you know, as the concept. And we're going to touch a little bit more on design in a bit. Any question on this? It's only 6 things you need to remember to have a successful campaign. You know, set the intention. Who is that? Like, who are you targeting? Like, who are you targeting, and what's the message you're trying to tell these people? The reason, that good reason why target comes before a good reason why target comes before message is like, you know, I remember, you know, a friend of mine said, "Oh, we're going to see this other artist. You know, we're really young, so we picked up art. We want to learn as many art mediums as possible. We're going to see this other artist. He uses sawdust to make art." I was like, "Oh, interesting. Let's get there." And my friend was like, "Oh, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say." You know, then he got there, and it was like it was a man almost in his 60s. You know, so he became dumbfounded because he did not prepare for the target. So his message became irrelevant because his message was for a young teenager kid like him, right? So that's why the target, knowing the target, is as important as the message, and being able to define that. And I think I talked about 4 ways to be able to get the target right. You know, David, do you have any questions on targets? That seems to be a big thing for lots of people. Do you have any questions on target? Do you have any questions on the 6 things? The 6 things that we talked about. You know, the 6 things that we've talked about in a campaign, being a successful campaign.
I think you've covered it quite well. I understand each of those 6 stages to a good extent. And the question, the answer to Sydney's question gave me some more light.
I wouldn't even see it as stages. Like, if you have, I don't care how. I mean, it's irrelevant how it came, right?
Yeah.
But this is simpler, just a simpler flow. Right? The order doesn't matter, but these are more like 6 pieces to make the pie. Tejiri, are you there?
Yes, I'm charging my phone.
Okay, do you have any questions on campaigns?
No, I'm clear. I'm clear on everything.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, of course, we know the intention, setting the intention right. I thought about something, then I realized it probably might not be the greatest idea. I thought we were going to leave here with a campaign idea. But if you're fast, you could come up with something, right? But intention. If you're fast, just write one down. Simple. Keep it simple. Traffic, sales, engagement. Like just keep it simple. Awareness. Just keep it simple. What your intention is. If you like, you could do it, but it might take too much time. But we'll see. Whoever can get it done. So set the intention. Then of course the target. Who's that? Like who you going to get that like who's that intention from, right? Then of course, yes. So we're talking about target again. I put this slide because I was going to talk about getting the target seems to be a thing, like a big problem for lots of people. One way, if you don't like the English of demographics, you don't like the grammar of psychographics, you don't like all of those grammar, simple way to do it, probably best if you use if you use a business page, or you have a page on Facebook, make a video or make a couple of videos and simply just see the people that watch that video past a certain point. Those are the people interested in what you have to say. And now what you can even do with, if you're running ads, you can create a lookalike, which means you're telling Facebook, these people are cool. Give me more of these people. So if when we're running ads or want to do like campaigns where the medium is ads, one of the first things we do is we put a video out with a message, then boost that video and see how many people that reach. And it doesn't even matter if it's 2, 3, 10, it doesn't matter, but it'd be good if it's past like 100, right? But because now you're giving Facebook more information, more information to work with, and this create a lookalike, an audience that looks exactly like this. So what they do is just take what you give to them, they expand that, and there you go. Target problem solved. So some people go, you have to know your target before you run ads. I'm like, well, you could know your target by running ads. But yeah, okay. So of course the message. What's your message? I mean, my message is campaigns are better than launches, right? So what's your message? You can write that down. Put some objectives, some things you want to achieve with the campaign besides just the main goal, the medium. And we're talking about this just like maybe 2 hours ago about how we think that business follows a certain structure. I mean, legal structure maybe, but in terms of operational structure, not really. Certain campaigns or certain people have done certain things the way they creatively were inspired to do them, and those things have created a wave. But as long as you understand the core, like getting clients is how many leads, how many people are knowing about this stuff, how many of them how many people are in my network, how many of them am I converting into people actually showing up to buy with the intention to buy, then how many of them am I closing from those people, and you just keep playing with that percentage. And how you get the leads does not matter. You don't even have to be on the internet. I have friends who are not on the internet. They're making millions from their business, not on the internet, right? As long as they're getting their leads, they are fulfilling their appointments and closing those sales. And it's the same thing with campaigns. It doesn't matter how you run your campaign. It doesn't matter how you want to go about with your campaign. We'll pass an hour now. The core of campaign is to establish these 6 things we talked about and go at it creatively. So a couple of things you want to have in your design is probably the concept. Okay, what's the concept behind this? And that concept could be anything really. Then what kind of media would I want to use? Like media and medium. Like what's the content? The content type, the image, the graphics. Like if you look at all the campaigns, they had a way they had a way of communicating that. You were saying something, IBK, in the beginning, where you said there is some sort of physical evidence,
Yes.
right? So it's not physical evidence. It's not per se, right? However, there are mediums that do not require physical evidence, right? They simply require evidence. They simply just require some sort of communication. All of business is transaction, like between two parties, and everything between that is communication, right? So when they see your stuff, are you communicating? Are you communicating? Are you communicating what that thing? So how are we going to communicate? That's basically it. Whether you're using pictures, videos, graph, whatever it is. So okay, of course, like the funnels, what would that look like? And the flow, how everything is going to flow. So the flow is like, I think I talked about a flow. Let me see if I can yes. So this is the flow I talked about, right? So
Excuse me, guys. I'll be
made a
off in
couple of
minutes.
made a couple of videos, boost the video, retarget the people, send them to a webinar. If a couple of them showed up, when they showed up, we closed, and the ones that and at every point we retarget more people that are watching the video. We retarget people that did not show up for the webinar. We retarget people that showed up for the webinar, but not like it's again, it's a 6-step process again. Okay, so we're almost done here, and this is one of my favorite campaigns. One of my favorite. It's the campaign by Diesel, Be Stupid. Everyone is telling you to be smart. Everyone is telling you to do all of these things. Well, how about be stupid? And here's these are the campaign images. These are the campaign images. It says smart may have the brains, but stupid have balls. Smart listens to the head, stupid listens to the heart. Smart had one good idea, and that idea was stupid. So think less, stupid more. Smart says no, stupid says yes. Smart listens to the hello, stupid listens to the heart. Smart listens to the head, stupid listens to the heart. Stupid might fail, smart doesn't even try. Long live stupid, right? And this is one of my favorite campaign because of how it is just executed, taking two words and something that contradicts itself and making it a thing that people want to do. And this is what campaigns can do. The power of campaigns, as opposed to trying to launch a product with all the headache. Set an intention. What's your message? And follow the 6-step process. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about campaigns? Teju, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do you have any questions so far on campaigns?
Does the message have to be short, or can it be like a story?
Storytelling in business for me is story is almost like an extension, not even just in business. Story is an extension of a belief.
Of a belief, okay.
So it's almost like an elaboration of a belief. So yes, you can tell the story. Stories are beautiful, right? However, at the core of that story, what's the belief?
What's the belief? Okay.
So
the belief is the message.
And that is the message. Yes.
Oh.
If you look at the Think Different campaign, they told a story, man. They told a story, but at the core of that story is Think Different. Like one can even say, like if you look at these visuals here, they're telling a story visually. Right? Look at, for example, smart may have the brains, but stupid has the balls. And look at the irony in everything that they're doing and trying to communicate.
Okay.
Smart tells you, stupid shows you. Smart people are always trying to tell you stuff, right? Stupid people just show you. That's why it's easier to show like somebody who you would consider stupid how to sell business or anything in business. It's the best mind for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You have more questions? Any question though?
Okay. I think my question is the target. Okay, so
let's go. We could go back to. We'll go back to the 6th.
Okay.
To the 16th. Yeah. Okay. Let's look. We could look at the 16th one. Yeah.
What's the difference between objectives and intention?
Intention. Well, sometimes. So I mean, any of the objectives could be the intention, right?
Okay.
Yeah. The thing already. The thing is, objectives is more like, what are some of the other things I would try to accomplish while trying to get this main thing?
Okay.
For example, the guy says, I want to make 10 million. Right? That's an intention. Okay. But some of the objectives could be, I want to have a startup. Or, I want to build a business. I want to own some properties. Or I want to, all of those other stuff. But the main intention there is the 10 million.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, you could give him the 10 million. You know what he's still going to try to do? He's still going to try to come and get the objectives done.
Okay.
So
like extension of an intention. Would you say that?
What?
Would you say objectives are like an extension of the intention?
It's not a law. Basically, sometimes they are, but not always.
Okay. Not always. Okay.
Not always. No.
Okay.
But sometimes a lot of times they are, but not always.
Sounds like fun anyway.
It's fun. It's fun. Like, it's fun. I'm not sure if any one of you could come up with an intention.
I already.
You did.
I did.
We'll get to that in a bit. Sydney, do you have any questions on campaign so far?
Not really. I'm just still trying to process everything. The little I heard.
Like, I was speaking to you would. I mean, not you because you understand the music business. But lots of people, what they see is the song is coming out. They see they see a launch. The song is coming out. We're going to buy, right? But if you speak to in the music business, they're rolling out a campaign. It's a whole campaign.
Okay.
Very true.
It's a whole process, which is now before the product is before the song is out.
They will call it the rollout plan.
Like, and what's the call? Like, let's look at even like it. I think I use Drake because that's somebody that lots of people know. But think about the message is very. The message was out before the song even came out. Before the song even came out, people were already buying Mac or something, like trying to buy merchandise, the product before the song came out.
Okay. I think one person who does that more is DJ Khaled, I guess.
Yeah, before the song, and even after the songs, like another person, like you see, like in Nigeria,
Davido.
Not Davido. I would say the best at campaigns right now, Don Jazzy.
True.
He does the pre-launch. He doesn't care about the launch. He cares about the song going number one. He cares about the song having 10 or 100 million views. He cares about the song making this amount of money. He cares about the song getting 100 shows in the next 3 months. That's what he cares about. Right? So and I saw that he uses he posts a lot of comedy skits of other people.
Yes.
But what he does mostly is he posts the skit of other people that are using the song in their comedy. So he's reposting. So now do you know what lots of the like Instagram comedians and short clips started doing? They started doing more of putting more of his songs in their comedy because they're like, Don Jazzy will post me if I put this song, I just tag him, and he posts everybody because they are doing what they call user generated content. Why should he post everybody? But they are happy he posts me. Oh my god, right? So these are all campaigns. Yeah. Sydney, so you said you're still processing? Okay, I think it's on mute.
It was, I heard everything. That was actually very concise and mad.
It was very simple. Like, let's come up with a dance for this song. That's the campaign is basically, we're going to get the whole, like the goal is to make this song blow. Like every single person on this African continent will be dancing to this song. That's the intention, right? But along the line, we want some shows, we want some awards, we want some, that's the objective, we want some other stuff, right? Okay, so now they go, how do we do it? First of all, we're going to come up, like, what can everybody be included in? A simple dance. A simple dance. All they need to do is move their shoulders. Very simple dance. So how are we going to popularize this song? Well, what we're going to do, we're going to simply get 10 big media people to do it, and that starts the wave. Then if we see how it goes, we could get 100 smaller people to, like, smaller people to start doing it. Even 3,000 followers, doesn't matter. 1,000 followers, 500 followers, but that starts the wave. And we will repost all the user-generated content to encourage more people to post more about the song and the dance. Brilliant. That's the campaign. So all of the visuals, the videos, the clips, the album cover, song cover, all of those, it's all campaigns, man. Campaigns are better than launches. This is almost like the world's best kept. No, it's not even a secret because it's out there in the open. Did you have any questions?
I think it's making more sense now that you when you're using the music business, it's adding up. It's making more sense now. So when you said the song's intention, the intention of
the target, yeah,
of releasing the song, the objectives could be awards, billboards, streams, endorsements, collaborations.
What's the medium? It's like we're going to capitalize on Instagram and TikTok as a medium.
TikTok, okay, medium, TikTok.
Then the design is all of the from the photography, the kind of photos that she's using, okay, now the challenge and the song has to go with, the song has a message.
Okay, the song has a message.
Yes, the song is summarized into a message. You can't kill my vibe, man. Like I'm too there, right? So now that message that the song has is just radiates in the kind of video or short clip videos that they use, or the kind of photography. That whole attitude of can't kill my vibe is pushed out and portrayed in everything. So that's the design, and you could see the flow. And again, talking about target, Sydney, they had a couple of target groups. So we're going to target companies so that all of the companies and their employees would do it. We'll get into the challenge. We're going to target those ladies who like to twerk on camera. So we're going to get them to twerk. The comedians who are doing skits and who want to be known and all of that stuff, we're going to target. So they had these people and they targeted them slightly like the way the companies carry out the campaign is still kind of the same, but slightly different. Yes. So IBK, you might have to watch the you have to watch the recording. So far, do you have any questions on campaign?
So far, as much as I caught is clear.
Okay. All right.
Everything.
So who cannot execute a campaign right now? Well, of course, there's some technicalities there, but who cannot execute one right now? Whatever way or form. Remember, logic, magic. So in whatever way or form, who is not confident that they can run a campaign? Okay, so everyone is pretty confident. Like, I can do it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. IBK, did you see my favorite campaign? Not my favorite, but one of my favorites, Be Stupid? Okay, you probably didn't catch that part.
No.
Okay. We might need to watch this again, man. Like one of my favorite campaigns, the irony in everything. Irony in everything that they say and how they have used almost a sarcastic tone it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And of course, the campaign, you could tell they were trying to get more women to be involved in diesel. You know, and with the whole feminism thing already going underground, powerful, right? Okay, so we live in a world where a simple hashtag can change the course of history. Chasing the clients or the money, or sometimes the perfect launch, creates the antithesis. I always like using this word, but I never want to say it right. Creates the antithesis of our intentions. However pure those intentions are, it creates the antithesis. Have you tried chasing anything? Dave, I mean, have you tried chasing anything? Like the natural response of anything in life that you chase is almost to want to run. Yeah. For whatever reason, you want to run away.
Yeah.
But if you are able to attract them, and the message is the attraction. The message is that if you're able to attract them, they will come to you, and people, and they'll be inclusiveness. They will join the movement. They will join what you're trying to do. Where it no longer becomes about, I want to sell 1,000 products. I need money by Friday, so I need to launch a product by Thursday and make the perfect launch, right? It no longer becomes about that. It becomes about a movement. It becomes about a community, realizing that your ideal clients are a community, and they organize themselves in that way. If you're able to recognize that, and getting a message that becomes part of the culture of that community. We live in a time where your message can be shared and distributed easily. Campaigns, if done right, ensure that clients and the other desires are byproducts of a fun process where we simply share our message and beliefs. Skip the launches, man. Run campaigns. All right. So thank you guys.
Wow.
Yes. So any questions or thoughts so far, Sydney?
This has been quite impactful. I really have a lot of thoughts, and one of them is I think campaigns. If you take the smallest form, if you expatiate on a launch, it becomes a campaign. It becomes more long term, and if you expatiate on a campaign, it becomes a culture. When you say a hashtag can change because of its history, that's exactly what I got from that, because if you're trying to like pioneer a culture, for instance, it starts with a campaign,
yes,
and develops into a lifestyle for most people. For example, Nicki Minaj, till today, people are still wearing double fringe hairs and all those plastic looks the girls do.
Yes, and that was a campaign. The launch, the campaign was to get more attention for the product that she has.
Wow. Until now, still wow.
Yes. Till this day.
Wow. From over 10 years ago. That's ridiculous.
Yes.
That's pretty much become the lifestyle. You barely see anything that is not.
So any good campaign will become a part of, a strong campaign will become a part of culture.
It becomes a cultural idea. It becomes a cultural idea.
Cultural idea.
So however expansive the community that you serve is, it becomes a cultural idea for that community.
Wow.
And lots of things. When I look into the modern world post the Industrial Revolution, and most of our culture are basically based upon campaigns. A lot of the things we do. Black Lives Matter is a campaign. It's a campaign that is going on. Like, it's an ongoing campaign. Like, it's and they've come up with different ways to keep rolling out and keep it alive. Let's go. Let's go. But again, the thing I like about campaigns is that it's always people like, somebody said to me once, he said, if you can make anything seem like a selfless act, whether it is on we're not here for morality, right? But again, it's your message. He said people love anything that seems like a selfless act. And when you share your message, you share your belief, right? You share your message and belief. You know. Okay. All right. Teju, do you have any thoughts, questions, or thoughts?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right.
I shared some of them earlier.
You have what?
As I shared some of them earlier.
You shared some of them earlier.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.